is Maggie the Irish Gypsy, here to bring you your August 2020 general readings. This reading is for the fire sign of Sagittarius, and this is for the first half of August, from the 1st through the 15th. Welcome, everyone. I hope that you're all, as I always do, safe and well and as sane as can be in a world and a year that seems kind of completely crazy and constantly changing. So I hope everyone's doing all right. Thanks for being here. Thanks for taking the time to watch the video. Your likes, shares, subscribes, your donations, everything that you've done to support this channel. Please hit the subscribe button if you haven't, and if you want to, of course. Thank you so much for everything that you've done. So this reading, again, is for Sagittarius for the first half of August. So that's if Sagittarius is your sun, your moon, your rising, or your Venus. It also applies if you're cross-watching for Sagittarius as well. Watch all of your signs if you know them and you can, sun, moon, rising, and Venus, because each one can bring in more information and a different perspective into what's going on in your life. If any of the readings do resonate with you and you'd like to reach out for a personal reading or information, take a deeper look at something, just click on the description link below. Click on the little arrow that pulls down information. You'll see my email address there, Maggie1McGuire@gmail.com. Feel free to email me. I can usually respond within the same day or the first 24 hours with more information. And I do readings full time. It's all that I do. So scheduling is done in as timely a fashion as possible. I'm pretty diligent at working with schedules. So email me if you're interested. Okay, Sagittarius. Let's see what the first half of August has in store for you. I know a lot of you have been going through quite a bit in the last probably 6 months to a year in making some new changes and new moves. I think some of you have actually physically moved lately or recently. For those of you who need to know, I feel like cutting these one more time, or want to know, I am using Legacy of the Divine Tarot, and if we need to clarify, I will be clarifying with the Gilded Tarot Royale. Okay, Sagittarius, we begin with the Page of Coins, followed by the Eight of Cups. We have the Four of Swords, followed by the Moon. From the bottom of the deck, I'm going to take that too. From the bottom of the deck, representing overall energy for the first 2 weeks of August, we have the Magician, and I also feel like taking the card underneath it, which is the Three of Cups. Okay, Sagittarius. So, you are manifesting the first 2 weeks of August, and likely the last part of July as well, which is when we're recording this video. You're physically manifesting things. We have the Magician followed by the Three of Cups. So, which is interesting because the Three of Cups is a card sometimes referred to or nicknamed the party card, because the Three of Cups usually represents a high level of social energy, socializing, partying, getting out, drinking, dancing, having a good time with people that you feel connected to, like your best friends, your circle, your tribe, your community, your neighborhood. You know, it's a card that has a lot of happy, very social energy. And the Magician is somebody who, through his long experience and hard work and dedication and his mastery now over all of the elements, is able to take what he thinks and dreams about and physically manifest it into reality. This is a card that represents combining both your own innate talents and skills with physical hard work and pulling things together to make something into reality, to make something happy. You may be having a lot of friends and your tribe kind of helping you do that, and there is some social energy too. I do feel like some of you have gone through a pretty major change, which was very start and stop for a while, but was finally in process. and you've had help from friends, community, but there's been some difficulty with it in the actual moving process itself. Now, for some of you, this is physically moving and relocating. I do feel like some of you have done that recently, or you're just wrapping it up. You're wrapping up the end process of it. But there are some aspects of it you're still learning how to navigate. Here with the Page of Coins, pages usually represent people who are just starting off on a path. It represents, being kind of full of information, because there's very much with pages, they're just starting out, a very student apprentice energy. They are in the process of learning and trying to figure out how to take what they've learned and what they're learning and actually manifest it in a practical way in their life, which is what the Page of Coins is doing. Now, what clarifies that is the Eight of Cups, which is a card of leaving, of walking away, leaving something behind which may have started out to be very fulfilling, but which has run its course, or you've made the decision to move on. So some of you, this is physically moving and relocating. Some of you, it's turning your back and leaving something else behind, which, again, I feel may have started out to be something really great, but it's either run its course or it turned out to be not exactly what you wanted to continue with. But I feel like there's some process for you that you're still trying to learn how to navigate this. I feel like some of you, especially those of you for whom this resonates, that you physically moved, or you're in the process of physically moving and relocating, leaving something behind. I feel like part of that is people. And of course, we live in a day that's, we live in a world that's very technologically savvy, so there's lots of ways to stay connected with people. But it feels like there's a chapter has closed or is closing in your life, and you're trying to figure out in this moving on process how to kind of like emotionally reshuffle things. For example, if you've lived in one place for a very long time and you made a lot of friends and community and you felt really rooted there, something came up for some of you that was a really great opportunity for you, perhaps for you and your family, and you're moving, you're closing off one chapter and you're starting a whole new one. But it's difficult to do, it's kind of bittersweet and painful, and this is the first time you've had to do it to this intensity and depth, and so you're learning how to actually do that and reprioritize and put things in different places and restart a new part of your life, or perhaps a new life period. It looks like there's a lot of help around you and you're physically manifesting that. Some of you may be touching base with the people, the place, the community that you've moved from during this time as well. There may be some kind of celebration of that. That also may be with the place or the thing, the new situation that you're moving to as well. So just kind of being in the midst of sort of that. Next we have the Four of Swords with the Moon. So I feel like this process has probably worn you out, Sagittarius, because the Four of Swords is a card that represents, taking kind of a step back, a temporary step back to recover, to rest, to recuperate from something which perhaps has taken quite a bit out of you, maybe getting a different perspective on it, seeking wisdom, insight, perspective. But this is a card that represents a retreat or a step back temporarily from some kind of conflict or challenge, something that was quite difficult. Again, whatever this situation is, whether it's actual moving and relocating, you're leaving one situation for another situation. It feels like most of you were very rooted in another situation, but it's time to move on. But I feel, and I think probably because of the pandemic and shelter in place and how things have been constantly changing, I think for you it's been stop and start and stop and start. And are we going to be able to do this? Don't know. Can we do this? Don't know. And things have just been, it hasn't been the process it normally would have been prior to all of this going on. And so even though it looks like you have either wrapped it up or you're in the process of wrapping it up, it's taken a lot out of you. And I think once it's actually completely over, you're just like, oh my gosh, I'm so tired. All I really want to do right now is just take a break, take some time. So underneath that is the moon. So there's still a bit of, uncertainty here with the moon. The moon sheds light just like the sun does, but it's a different kind of light. There's a lot of shadows and nooks and crannies and hidden recesses, and you don't know what's kind of in those hidden recesses because you can't see clearly. It can represent, fears being magnified unrealistically, and just a general sense of cloudiness and not knowing. I feel like it's probably just related to going through what feels like it's been a major transition for you, and because of maybe certain specifics in your life and your story, and with everything that's been going on in the world, it's unclear right now perhaps how things are going to pan out, or if I made the right decision, etc. So let's clarify some things. So I feel like you're with the Page of Coins and the Eight of Cups here, you're learning how to leave something behind in its proper place. Let's clarify that, though. Let's clarify the Eight of Cups, which is about leaving or turning your back on something and figuring out how to do it perhaps in a different way than you've done it before. I mean, even if this is something like a relationship breakup, it's not. And if you have a pattern or a habit in the past of just breaking up or doing it with anger, this might be doing it in a different way, figuring out how to do it in perhaps a bit more of a grown-up or adult way, how to do it and still remain friends, or how to do it, putting things in its proper place. Because I feel like even though a lot of you are moving on from something, you're still maintaining connections with the people or the place or the situation that you're moving from as well, and kind of learning how to juggle that. So let's see, what is it you're leaving behind, or what is this Eight of Cups about? The Eight of Cups is about the Eight of Cups. I'm clarifying with a different deck, so I'm clarifying the Eight of Cups, and what came out is the Eight of Cups. So it's definitely leaving. I mean, if there's any, if there's any question for you, Sagittarius, in whether or not you made the right decision, or what this is about, it's definitely about leaving something behind. I feel like for a lot of you, it's less about you're leaving it because it was horrible, rotten, unfulfilling, and more about it had run its course, and some new opportunity which presented itself was too good not to take. Let's see if we can clarify anything about this leaving or turning away. The Ten of Pentacles, long-term stability and security. So this can be either what you're leaving, something that you worked a long time to kind of establish. It can also represent that you're moving towards something, or the new situation or place or job or whatever that you're moving to carries the kind of long-term stability and security that you need for yourself and perhaps for your family as well. And it can be a combination of both. It's like you're leaving a place or a situation that you had a lot invested in, but you're doing it because you're moving to the next phase, the next chapter of your life that's also going to be best for continued stability and security for you and perhaps for your family as well. It could be financially, materially, emotionally as well. So let's clarify the moon. What are you kind of uncertain? What do you feel is hidden from you at this point? The Ace of Coins and the World. So we're clarifying the moon here. So what is uncertain, or perhaps not all that clear for you right now, is whether or not you made the right decision. The World is the last major arcana card in the tarot. The World represents coming to the end of a pretty important and significant chapter in your life, or set of chapters. having done everything that you were meant to do and now preparing for the next phase. And the Ace of Coins is that new beginning, a practical new beginning. This is often a card that shows up for moving, relocating, starting a new job, some combination of all of those things. So I think, you're tired, you're exhausted. This whole process has taken a lot out of you, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. And it looks like there's still some underlying doubt as to whether or not this was the right thing for you to do. Because the future, as it is for many of us today, is rather, uncertain, because things keep kind of changing and shifting. But that's what the lack of clarity is about. So but I think you're going to be fine. And I've kind of felt that throughout the process. It may have been a difficult transition and a difficult leaving. But I think what you're going towards is is where you're supposed to be. So let's just pull an outcome card here. Oh, we have a jumper. Well, Sagittarius, you're going to be just fine, because this is what literally flew right out of the deck when I was shuffling as an outcome card, the Sun. The Sun is an uplifting of pressures. I'm getting financial, actually, for some of you, that what you're moving to is providing, and we did have that Ten of Coins, which can represent actual, literal, financial and material stability. I feel like where you're coming from served its purpose, but where you're moving to is where you're supposed to be as well, because the Sun represents uplifting of restrictive energies, light, love, warmth, laughter, fun, illumination. You're definitely, if the uncertainty is whether or not you made the right move, if you're making the right move, it is. It's working out. It's going to work out. I mean, it's God's spirit, angels, and guides. You're going to be just fine. The sun is shining. It's going to continue to shine on you. This was definitely the right decision, even though there may be a lot of uncertainty and you're not really sure and you're tired, and combined with all of that. But this is your outcome, the sun, the most positive, influential card in the tarot deck, and its ability to affect everything. So, Sagittarius, that's it. It's a really nice reading, and yeah. So if this reading did resonate with you, Sagittarius, or if any of the videos do, and you'd like to take a deeper look at something, reach out for a personal reading or information, just click on the arrow below, the description link that pulls down information. Email me directly at Maggie1McGuire@gmail.com. I would be delighted to work with you. I will see you all again in a couple of weeks for the mid-month August readings. Until then, stay safe, stay well, and I hope to see you back here again soon. Bye-bye.